Hello and salutations to everyone. I am K. Clark Ko or Kyle Clark. Welcome to the Wrestling Around podcast. And I'm going to admit one of my guests I'm going to have two guests at this time. Will join us shortly. One that is with me right now is a newcomer to GTS. Is named Vincent Cade. How's it going, my man?
How are you?
Nothing much. How you doing?
I'm good. One moment.
Uh,
There you go. Even though
there
the
you
hair is all
go.
crazy.
So how was your GTS debut when you got into be into that GTS ring and actually gotten to be in Sucker Slam and you beaten James Gray?
Well, funny enough, my GTS debut was actually against Philly Mike for the YouTube title.
Yeah, I think that open challenge, I believe.
Exactly. I answered his open challenge, and that was actually my debut at GTS. And I've been honestly on a losing streak until my meeting with James Gray in the steel cage.
Wow. And recently you got in a dub over him at Sucker Slam on the other channel, not on the Silly Superpod channel. I think it was this game.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why, unless you follow both channels, not a lot of people, know that I've been, in GTS for quite a few matches now. And I like going out there, and I like the competition, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a good aspect of the wrestling business, to like the competition and keep thriving in the wrestling business. Speaking of which, when you debuted in GTS, actually gotten to accept the challenge from Billy Mike Swanson. Besides the YouTube title, what other titles would you want to go after?
Honestly, I'm I'm here for fun. I'm not here for titles, but if I'm here to take a title, now that Philly Mike's got more on him, I definitely wouldn't mind wrestling him again for any of the nice little titles he's got around his waist.
Well, he was the undisputed champion as of late, but well, Grimm took one of the championships off of him. But
Exactly.
it's kind of, you know, what is your thoughts on Grimm and his officiating of GTS, and what is the anti-Grimm movement? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that is I'm not anti-Grim. I'm not for Grim. I'm on my side. So the way he runs GTS, I know that people are saying, that he buries everyone and everything. So I kind of find it funny because every company needs that guy that kind of sets the pace for everything and needs to bury people once in a while to humble them, knock them
Yeah.
off their high horse, so to speak.
Mm, I see. So, out of the match that you wrestled so far for GTS, or before then, what was your favorite match when you got into the ring and like got into the squared circle and actually had a match?
Well, as far as GTS goes, like I said, my one of my favorite matches was definitely against Philly Mike. I like wrestling with James Gray, and I'm not gonna lie, I look forward to meeting Joey Angelo in the ring one on one.
Mm, he's more of a hardcore like guy kind of guy, and
And that's
yeah.
the thing. No one knows. Like my style is actually hardcore. I've actually shared with a couple of people from GTS that I'm not sure if you're familiar with the company, but POR Wrestling. I did a show with them, and I did a Spanish fly off the roof. You see that spot?
That no, actually, I've been following the GTS channel for like since like was it February of something, where like people that you
Okay.
might have heard of, like Lawrence Spile, where they debuted, and where Vince Series and all those people that were getting
Oh, I
into.
know Lawrence Spiral for a while now. It's so funny that you mentioned him. So yeah, Lawrence Spiral's he's a good dude. He was in a little ladder match that I was in at GTS. Actually, he won that match. He was the dark champion.
Mm. Well, when before you got into wrestling, who was your inspiration to start training?
Before I got into wrestling, my inspiration to start training was just my buddies, a couple of guys. We just all wanted to wrestle. We made our own little federation at one point and stuff. And then I took it from there, started getting training in my area of Jersey, and I started to try to branch out.
Mm. So, what? How was it like in the early days when you started out into training in the wrestling business?
Well, I'll tell you the very, very first thing. I wasn't good. I'm better than I am. I'm better now than I was then. And I definitely watch my old matches and see all the mistakes that I would make. And I thought I was great when I first started. And I was humbled. I was humbled by the business and humbled by my peers and trainers. And I realized I didn't know as much as I thought. So wrestling in the very beginning wasn't easy.
So, out of the moves that you would either take or receive, what are the moves that you could actually take and you're really comfortable with of either receiving or taking?
Um, It's funny because I actually feel like there's nothing I won't take, but that's actually untrue. I'll take a lot of things. The only things I won't take actually is the funny part because I'll take everything. I like doing moves that would land me on my neck, and people are like, "Are you crazy?" Like I've taken a Canadian destroyer off a ladder onto a trash can. I've done crazy things like doing a tombstone off of a ladder through a chair. Like I've done my fair share of hardcore stuff too, but
I think
things that I wouldn't take, it's a hard bargain there because, like, for example, I would never take a burning hammer, but you could slam me off of a ladder onto my neck. So I'm very weird with certain moves. I just don't like being upside down.
You have like
sense.
So you basically have like the ECW type of vibe.
Basically, yes.
So like I saw like on Twitter where you like had a guy and just we're on the top of the roof and then you just did a move on top of I think it was a cardboard or wood something where you
it was like a table door basically. So they put the door propped up so we could crash through it like a table.
That's like proving like the hardcore aspect of your career, like where you did that spot off the roof. That was like, what the you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's
right, no. Oh, right.
Headshot. I mean, granted, if I'm in a death match, I got myself into this, so I'm definitely going to take something to the head. But I usually would rather get slammed through something rather than it being like slapped over my head. That's so. Yeah, this is the money maker here. I'm the sexy beast, Vincent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would take any move or take any spot, no matter how hardcore it is. It's like the people would be like, "Hey, what the would you take that move for? You killed yourself."
I usually tell people, I'm like, I want to do this move, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not taking that." It's like usually when I call the tombstone off the top rope, people are like, "Are you fucking nuts? I do not want to do that." But I'm like, that's fair. But whenever I propose a move like that, I will ask them, "What do you want to do in return?" So I'm never gonna hit a big move, and you're not gonna see a big move from my opponent. Like you're gonna see something.
I see. So don't mind if there's another person that is coming in. Do you mind if I add them?
Not at all.
So introducing a part of the anti-grim movement is Mike Goldstein.
Goldstein.
We've been trying to get him on for a long time. How's it going, Mike? How's it going, Goldstein?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can hear you, Goldstein.
Yeah.
I've never used Zoom before, so
that's
just go tap the stop video and click that so you could show your face if you want to.
Yeah, it's kind of new. I get being like newer to Zoom. So how's it going, Goldstein? You've recently became the intercontinental champion and became the first ever your words intercontinental champion and I gotta ask what was the motive like where you went against Grimm and gotten the anti-Grimm movement up with like an uprising against Grimm and his associates?
Say that again? Say that one more time?
The anti-Grimm movement. What are like the motives of forming the anti-Grimm movement, and what are basically the motives of the anti-Grimm movement was supposed to do, basically?
So, the anti-Grimm movement was started because guys such as myself, Jungle Jim, the boy band, Isaac Scythe, we have been trying to just do our jobs at GTS, and Grimm will not let us do that and telling us that we're constantly bad at what we do. But it's always Grimm's the one who's like changing up the rules mid-match. Grimm is the one who makes these stupid matches that make us look bad. So that is why we started the anti-Grimm movement. We're not trying to end GTS. We're not trying to end Grimm's career. We just want to make GTS a better show for not just us, but everybody.
So basically, the anti-Grimm movement is just basically ousting Grimm out of power and just basically giving more opportunities to the upcoming guys. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, very much like the whole entire roster in a whole, you know.
Let's see. So, I gotta ask a question for both of you. When you first both came into GTS, what were your first impressions? Goldstein, let's start with you.
Well, when I first came in, it was about a year ago, and there was just no wrestling at all going on at the time. So GTS was one of the few and only things going. So mainly my first impression was I was just happy to have a place to wrestle, especially when it was like a weekly basis type thing, because nobody knew when things were going to start opening up again. So my impression was just like, hey, I'm here to do my job. Really.
All right, Mr. Cade.
Yes, sir. So my first impression with GTS was, wow, this ring is really big. First words out of my mouth as soon as I showed up to the show. Wow, this ring's really big. Then, I started to say hello to everybody and get to know the guys. And so certain people knew me from other places and other shows and everything like that. And I'm just trying to get my name out there, trying to, network and everything. So my first impression with GTS was, if I get a good following from this, I could stay doing this. I have a good group of guys, and Goldstein. It was funny because my first night there, actually, we all went out and had a little bit of food and stuff, and just talked about a little bit about GTS and just bullshit a little bit. It's a good group of guys in general. Everyone there is a good group of guys. Not everyone's trying to help everyone. And although on camera it looks like people are getting buried, everyone's trying to help everyone else advance, and that's what I like about the show and about the GTS group in general.
It's DTS is basically like the no rules except rope break and all that jazz. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Goldstein, what is your favorite match throughout the entire tenure that you were wrestling in GTS? You can't. You hold on. Is it working now? Is it?
There we go.
Okay, I was trying to ask a question to Goldstein. Out of the matches that you actually wrestled in GTS, what was your favorite match overall so far?
So far, I've actually really, really liked the Lego death match I did with Joey Angelo. That one, at least from a pro wrestling standpoint. I really like the way it all like came together and everything that we did, like just really worked for it. Like I was one of the few matches that like actually saw out to like rip off from GTS and put it on like my own personal like the YouTube page. I was just really proud of that one. Trying to think of another one that like really stands out. Like
Goldstein, I can't wait till we mix it up in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to you, potentially not bumping your neck into sawdust. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. You know me. My neck has no boundaries.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like I said, yeah.
But
I sacrifice my body in one way, not the other. It's weird.
But I mean, like a lot of this stuff on like the other channel, GTS Into the Darkness, was just like wrestling. Like those matches are all like good for like from a pro wrestling standpoint. I guess everything I do on like the GTS main channel is really good from like a sports entertainment standpoint. Like I don't know if you understand like really what the difference is.
Yeah, basically it's just like more. I guess it's kind of like more extreme went into the darkness, and well, not saying silly. The Super Pops cannot like perform like the other channel, like you said, Lego death matches and other types of match types that's presented. But also, this is a question for both of you. What do you guys do in your free time while you're not wrestling in GTS or anywhere else in the independent scene? Goldstein?
Living our shoot lives, doing our shoot jobs,
I see. just doing our jobs, just hustling, I guess.
For myself, really, it's just like I just sleep a lot. I do also have like a shoot job, and it's not that I'm usually just at the gym a lot. So it's like go to work, sleep, gym, go back to sleep, go to work, wrestle. That's like pretty much my almost everyday life. I do a little bit of traveling, like up and down the East Coast for what I can. That's why it was so hard for me to get this interview with you, kid. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Made it work finally.
It's fine. It's through your busy schedule. I understand how your schedule is. So let's move into the recent AEW WWE news that you might have heard through the grapevine or you might have seen on television. You've heard that CM Punk has recently returned to WWE. Sorry, AEW. Hold on. So AEW, he was going to be facing Darby Allin. Who do you think would win in that bout at All Out?
Can't hear you again.
Oh, hold on. Does it work? Okay. What I was saying, CM Punk has recently returned to wrestling in AEW and wanted to have his first match back against Darby Allin. If you had to pick one to win, to go over at All Out, what would you pick? CM Punk or Darby Allin?
I mean, I guess you could ask. It really doesn't matter who goes over. I mean, yeah,
you'll be home. You'll be sent home happy with whatever outcome of that.
Yeah, as long as they have a good match, I don't think anybody really is going to care that much.
Oh. Hold on. Is it? Oh, it's kind of frozen.
Like them, unless like they're maybe setting up like a Darby Allin heel turn and turning Sting heel because he loses. I could see that maybe happening.
From a business standpoint, I mean, I've read something else where Ric Flair is talking about a possible tag team match in the future, and he would tag up against someone like probably with Andrade and go up against Darby and Sting. So if they're trying to fix something like that, it'd be logical for Darby to go over. So then it's even more believable that, him and his manager going up against, Andrade and his manager being Ric Flair in a tag team match. That's awesome. I mean, when I heard that, I definitely said, Flair might not be able to wrestle, but he's definitely going to get in that ring and take a bump or two. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah,
so if I had to say out of a Punk and Darby match, just to build up more hype on Darby should, go in there and win that. Because I doubt Punk's doing any title pictures anytime soon with Christian Cage back and all that.
Cade, you recently touched on like Ric Flair and El Idolo actually forming a tag team or like taking a few bumps. Well, Munchie said that about when Ric Flair just like came out of like not like retirement, like you just took gave a couple chops to Kenny Omega at some other independent show. I think it was a AAA where you just gave him a figure four. I think I could see Ric Flair possibly in AEW or somewhere. He actually recently gotten into NWA and all those places, but
exactly.
So out of the people at GTS, that's the question for both of you. Which person would you want to like get in the ring with out of the GTS locker room?
I actually answered that earlier. But besides,
Yeah, you repeat the question. My audio on my end cut out there for a second.
Okay. What I said was, out of the people in the GTS locker room, which of the people that you would want to personally wrestle in the either GTS ring or in the independent promotions that across the board?
I've pretty much almost wrestled everybody. I haven't wrestled Vince, but Vince just got there.
Exactly.
I wrestled almost everybody. I mean, I've been like kind of calling out Vlad recently, so I think me and Vlad would be kind of cool.
Nice.
Like I said, Vlad. Like I haven't wrestled Pete Corvus. I wrestled Tommy Salami like once, very briefly. Yeah.
The Vincent K kind of cut out when his cut out on me. So say that again. You said besides Philly Mike.
Oh no, I said besides Joey Angelo. Okay. Because I did say I wanted to wrestle Joey Angelo and not just Goldstein because he's here. But yeah, it was Joey Angelo that I'd like to have a one-on-one hardcore match with.
Out of the type of match types that can be possible in GTS, like what Goldstein said, the Lego Death Match. What type of match types would you want to partake in if you had to like make up a match type or like got like something on the fly?
Oh, I have a match in my own mind. I mean, I need a tag team partner for it, and I don't know how long of a match that would theatrically be, but I've always wanted to do a tag team last man standing match.
Ooh, that could be interesting. That has never been done before.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, the last time I seen a last man standing match was it AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Were they tussled for a last man standing match? So that could be actually a good sight to see, possibly in GTS or somewhere else. But Goldstein, what match types would you come up with, or like kind of like have they get into the ring and actually face one of either the GTS guys or any of the SWF or wherever you partake to?
I don't really have necessarily like something like that because I've gotten to do like almost every match possible in a sense. Like I don't think I've ever really done a tables match. I've never really done like a first blood match, but I'm like, oh, I really need to do those. And I got to do cage matches and ladder matches, Lego death matches. So, like, I got to do like the chain together match, Fat Fiend. So I don't really have too many left on like the checklist that I can think of that are like I really wanted to do these.
I've always said
anybody
as
has like
a joke.
a made up one that they can come up with, like I'm willing to do it and try to be like a hero.
I've always said as a joke. Granted, you can't find a weak enough ladder. I've always said as a joke, you do a ladder match with a table match stipulation. So you have to break your opponent through the ladder.
What?
You're gonna have a very tough time doing that. No, I showed that trying to senton through a ladder.
That's kind of confusing a little bit. A table with a tables type stipulation puts somebody through a ladder. Well,
yes.
We had we did it, like Vince and Vlad did like a cage lumberjack match, which made no damn sense. But
yeah,
we did it.
Yeah. Why did you put the lumberjack in it? That's kind of like
that's Grim's booking exactly, and I'm like, okay,
saying,
well,
that's
we're like allowed to kind of interfere. Then we're gonna try to get in this damn cage.
Right. A ladder cage match sounds more logical. Just saying.
Yeah. I think they did that in GTS before, like years ago. But
okay.
I think they did that.
Well, the lumberjack part, I'm just gonna say, on my opinion, why would it be just some type of lumberjack match? Because if the only way that the lumberjacks would even take part of it if the cage was broken, that's kind of like.
Yeah. Well, also in GTS, from when I was told, you don't even win by going out of the cage. So you're just gonna crawl out of the cage to get beat up.
I'll give Grim his due on that one. The whole you can win a cage match by getting out of it is like a dumb thing. I think only the WWE started doing that, but can you imagine having this huge blood feud and I defeat you in this years of culmination to this feud, and I beat you just by climbing a fence. It's
I do understand that, because he even said in his the way he put it is you have someone fast versus someone slow, and just because you're faster than me, you beat me in this match. So it's I do understand that, but that's what I mean also as far as putting lumberjacks outside of the cage. Why would I want to climb out of this cage if it doesn't mean I'm winning?
Honestly, I was shocked how Isaac Sight just was able to get in and just jump onto the cage and just hit Vince, hit Vlad with the taser. That was some that I gotta say that was some athleticism by Isaac Sight. I'm gonna say that was actually spot on. But besides that, moving on to the most recent news, you might hear tonight on SmackDown, which will air on Fox, obviously. But besides the point, Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor for the Universal title. Who do you think would actually win that match? Do you think Roman, the tribal chief, will go over, or Finn Balor will somehow win by disqualification via Brock's interference?
Roman Reigns is beating everyone in his path until WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble winner will choose Roman Reigns and beat him. If the Royal Rumble winner chooses the other champion, Roman Reigns is beating whoever he's wrestling at WrestleMania. It writes itself, I promise.
Oh, weren't they trying to stop Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Whoever it is, even if it is
that has been speculated for years. I haven't seen.
Well, I think they're really trying to do it this year. So
I mean,
I don't know.
Unless Brock just murks him and then he wins it back at Mania, which I don't think is going to happen either.
I mean, Brock Lesnar came back with a new look. That's kind of surprising to come back with a new look and just go after Roman Reigns and just basically suplex Cena around, and that was kind of unexpected, to be honest. When I first
that's just to write Cena off, because he's not coming back. He's in Hollywood now. He's like The Rock right now. He doesn't need WWE until WWE needs him.
Well, he could at least wrestle once a year, and that's about it, maybe. But, I mean, Hollywood's calling his name, like you said. But, so, if you were either in WWE or AEW, which person would you face if you didn't if you have a person out of WWE or AEW, you like Ring of Honor or Impact or New Japan Pro Wrestling, which person would it be, and would you want to tussle with? Both of you.
I have someone on the indies that I want to wrestle. I don't whether that even if they make it or not, I want to wrestle this person, and I've been saying it for like months now. I would love to wrestle. Oh my god, MV Young. I want to wrestle MV Young. And I said it. You know what? I don't want him chucking me off of something through something. That sounds like fun. I just got to protect my head. But I definitely want to wrestle MV Young or Jordan Oliver.
I've heard of him. I've heard of Jordan Oliver. I think he was part of GTS for a bit, maybe, or was he like somewhere on the independent scene or wherever? I believe so, or was it in NXT? I think I heard his name somewhere.
He's now, from what I saw, he's now in MLW, Major League Wrestling. So that's kind of cool.
All right. What opponents would you like to wrestle, Goldstein?
From a wrestling standpoint, I would really like to go to Japan and like either participate in Pro Wrestling Noah. I don't know if you know about that.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Noah or Big Japan. Because
what you got against New Japan?
I don't have anything against New Japan, but I've always been a really big fan since like 2008 or 9. I got really into Pro Wrestling Noah with like Mizawa and Kenta Kobashi and Marufuji and Kenta. And I've always really wanted to go there and work for that company. Because, like, believe it or not, that company in the early 2000s influenced a lot of the guys who are on TV now. Like, a lot of guys just rip stuff off from that. Like, it's very, if you watch it and you go watch, like, guys like Seth Rollins, you can tell, like, oh, he got a bunch of stuff from, like, Marufuji and Kenta and stuff like that. And I really wanted to go. That was, like, someplace I really want to go and, like, wrestle with any of those guys. But Big Japan, I know a lot of people know Big Japan for, like, its deathmatch division. Like with Jun Kasai and who else is in that deathmatch? Takeda, I think he was there. But they also have a thing called the strong heavyweight division, where it's pretty much just like really big, jacked up dudes like me working like a strong style type of wrestling. Like it's literally, I know it's not like I said, it's not what BJW is known for, but like. That's why when you ask that question, I always have to answer either from like a pro wrestling standpoint or a sports entertainment standpoint. Like there really is a differential in the two.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I do agree. I definitely do agree. Like now that you've mentioned like the Japanese market, Okada is definitely someone I would love to wrestle.
Yeah,
we're talking about. Cool too. Yeah, that's definitely one of the names that like I saw. Like when I was watching Japanese wrestling, that was one of the first things I've seen. Okada and Kenny Omega, and I was like, wow, wow. They've had some bouts that made me like, okay, I want to check out Okada because like I know Kenny Omega, so let me check out Okada. And I was impressed. I'm just like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to wrestle that guy.
Let's see. You know, I've actually like watched NJPW just once, and it was definitely Okada versus Omega, where I think Jim Ross was on commentary, where that match, you know, in Japan is like real more extreme than like here in the US, where I like you said might have ripped off the stuff in Japan, but I mean, it's like might have taken like inspirations from it, but.
In Japan, they don't really do like the sports entertainment necessarily. Like it's very much more toned down and about like the athlete and the in-ring work. Like as far as I know, I can't. Like, I'm not saying this like I know this 100%. Nobody really gets hired in a Japanese wrestling company because that guy can cut a promo. You know what I mean? Like it's really more viewed as a sport over there, unless you're maybe talking about a promotion like DDT. I don't know if you ever heard of DDT in Japan. Like that's where like Kenny Omega wrestled the blow up doll, and Kenny Omega wrestled like the 9-year-old girl Riho. Like it's a comedy promotion. But like the funny thing about DDT is like they're known for their comedy, but they actually do have really, really good in-ring wrestling throughout that show at times. Just how like Big Japan Pro Wrestling is really more known for its like deathmatch stuff, but like they have actually had some really good professional wrestling with their strong heavyweight division and their junior division. So like it is an acquired taste, I guess you could say, but like I've always really liked that type of stuff over there.
I see. So back to like the SummerSlam match, like with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Besides that, there was a main event, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, where you might have seen the match or heard of it, like where it didn't come to like some type of like not a disqualification, but like some type of no contest, that Lashley just retained the title. And he didn't really have to pin him or submit him. He just basically battered the crap.
Yeah, that was bold. I didn't like that ending.
I mean, it was newer for Goldberg to like pull out a slam and all those, and tried a jackhammer. But I mean, I'm honestly, the jackhammer has been like real botchy lately. We could say that. I mean,
Goldberg's been real botchy lately. He almost slammed Lashley on his neck and then speared him on the outside. And Bobby Lashley's head actually hit the ring post. If you watch that back, the spear to the outside, Bobby Lashley planks his head on the ring post. I'd be pissed off at Goldberg by that time. Goldberg hurt Undertaker. Like, Goldberg's been unsafe for a little bit now.
I mean,
in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. You know, there's rumors that Goldberg could go against Lashley again, but I saw in Saudi Arabia. But honestly, it could
for him to go over for the Saudis.
Even when his son got involved in the match, that was like out of nowhere. That was like, did you really have to put the hurt lock on his 15-year-old son?
Yes.
That's like hinting at a rematch at some point.
Well, I don't know if we could curse on this podcast, so I'm going to refrain from it.
That's fine.
But all right, well, I get when that happened, from a wrestling aspect, a comedy aspect, and a writing aspect, Bobby Lashley said, "Fuck these damn kids." Flipped them over, put the hurt lock, and left them there. That is a good heel. That is my opinion. Like when WWE was writing Dominic into this stuff, you had a grown man telling him, "I'm your father." Like I just like that aspect of writing, because you are bringing the drama into sports entertainment. Okay, it is entertaining at that point. It's sports entertainment. Okay, so then they bring Goldberg's son into it. Maybe he may want to wrestle, or like Vince cut him a check. Either way, now Goldberg's son's involved to make us believe like that we care that this kid was hurt. Like that's what they're trying to get. Like like what you said, the reaction you had is what they wanted you to have. Like, why did they have his 15-year-old son involved? What happened? Why did he do that? That's just their way of writing. If they have you asking those questions, they got their job done, in my opinion.
Like with Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, I could see. I think they're planning a Rey versus Dominic feud somewhere down the line.
Definitely.
Because Rey does, like, when they did a tag match, is like, hold on, like, watch out, pay attention, and then they just pushed Dominic out of the way before Rude just came and hit the turnbuckle. I could see that happening, like where like Dominic kind of messes up a couple more times, and then Rey just has enough and just basically just slaps.
I actually have a question for the both of you.
All right.
From a wrestling aspect.
All right.
When do you ever see the little guy turn on his big partner? When do you ever see that? The only time I've ever seen something similar to that was Seth Rollins turning on the Shield, and they were all the same size around that point. You never see the little guy turn on the big guy. So that's why even if Mysterio's feud, Dominic is definitely going to turn on his father. He's just the bigger one. So it's like, unless it's a teacher versus student storyline where Mysterio does look like he's coming in big, Mysterio is not known for being a powerhouse, and his son is definitely bigger than him. So it's like, when do you see the little guy turn on the other? And you know what I mean. So I feel like if they go that route, it's gonna be like he's gonna be like, Dad, I keep losing because of you, and then they start fighting. You know what I mean? But I don't see Rey Mysterio turning on his own son. Nah.
I mean, that I know that at least a heel turn is imminent, I could say, at that point. So, I mean,
it's like Hornswoggle trying to turn on Finley. He's too little to talk shit.
So, Goldstein, you can answer it now, Goldstein, if you want, if you have any thoughts on that.
You guys said a lot of stuff. What exactly was the question?
So, I think it was Cade asked us if he ever seen like a bigger guy, like the littler guy, turn on the big guy. I believe he said.
I thought Enzo turned on Casp. I think Dax actually turned on Enzo. I can't really remember, to be honest. I'm sure there's probably some aspect where that happened. And like maybe they got like another bigger guy to back them up with something. I can't really off the top of my head.
Did Shawn Michaels ever turn on Diesel? Because that's the only thing I could see happening.
Yeah, I guess someone turning on Diesel.
That's the only thing I could see.
Let's also speak of the tag team division lately in WWE. They've been literally tearing apart and then trying to remake the tag team division. And like with Otis and Tucker, where Tucker clocked Otis with his own briefcase. And then they breaking up the Iconics, breaking up the Evolution with Ava Marie and Doudrop, which I think is not a bad move. But Tucker just was been on the sidelines and tasting after the 24/7 championship. Honestly, I don't know what is Vince. I don't know what's actually happening behind the scenes. And NXT, I mean, it's not bad, but they have released a lot of guys that made it popular. Like Bobby Fish and Adam Cole and a couple of others that I could name, like Mercedes Martinez, I believe. All those people. I mean, the tag team division's kind of like either was crumbling apart and then just basically trying to be remade like Ali and Mansoor and T-Bar and Mace and all those people. So what do you think of the tag team division and the NXT brand in general? That's what I'm asking, basically.
I mean, WWE really just seems like these days they just make tag teams to make them up in general. Like, I don't know. It's like when I was growing up, it was just the tag team. When I was growing up, the tag team division was like Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, Dudley's, APA, and you have Kai and Ty, and I guess Test and Albert. That was the tag team division when I was growing up. And the only three of those teams that really stood the test of time were the Hardys, Christian, Dudley's. But that's all they really needed. And I think it's been hard to kind of top that because when you have tag team division, you did you guys as a tag team. It's always good, but I guess what you're saying is you just want tag teams to stay tag teams for a really more time. You know what I mean? Because tag teams stay together for 3 months and then it's broken up.
I mean, that's it's almost unpredictable at this point. I mean, I thought they were going to do something.
I think I remember hearing the Icon. That was their idea to break up.
I mean, they didn't really.
I mean, look at they practically separated the New Day. They don't want
without a heel turn. They were hinting at Big E with the heel turn.
What happened?
So.
Oh yeah, the heel turn. That heel turn was imminent. They wanted to try to sour the taste of the New Day in people's mouths before they broke them up. In my opinion, I just feel like what WWE does or has been doing is they don't want a star bigger than their own company, nor a tag team bigger than their own tag team division, which is why tag teams break up when they're on fire. Look at Enzo and Big Cass, how they just randomly got released after being over. Granted, I mean, they had their own personal issues, but regardless of the fact, they were getting over. And, Goldstein was saying about, the tag teams he grew up with. Now, the tag teams I grew up with, I mean, it was I guess a recovery of the tag team division. We had the Bashams, Deuce and Domino. We had freaking Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero after Los Guerreros broke up. Hell, we had Eddie Guerrero and Batista. You know what I mean? Even a little farther, but not too far off, when SmackDown was actually very good, you had Edge and Hogan tagging at one point. Like, that was kind of cool, like even the off tag teams that we had to see, or like for the storyline purposes, you had freaking Shawn Michaels and Cena, very tag team champions for whatever storyline they were feuding. Like little things like that. As far as tag team wrestling, I feel like they have it and then they lose it. Like you have your main guys in a rivalry beating your tag team champion, so it's like sometimes someone has to suffer, even if the tag team's on fire. First of all, and second of all, because they don't want people to be bigger than them, that's either when they get released or start losing all the time.
I mean, like back in the Ruthless Aggression era, the Prestige was real hot with the tag teams at the time. Like you said, the Hardy Boys, APA, the Dudley Boys, and I think it was 3 Minute Warning where it was like a little point.
Yeah. Hell, even Chuck and Billy had tag team gold at one point.
I mean, and I think it was Tajiri, and I think it was Eugene and William Regal actually had the tag team.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, they did. Yeah.
So
Kozlov and Santino, I think that was something too.
I mean, that was something interesting. Kozlov and Santino with the Cobra and the Moscow Mauler. I mean, strong guy and a comedic guy. I mean, Santino's obviously funny. Like he's like, hold on, John Cena. All those types of tag teams were really golden in the day. But there's another one. There's one more major point with the news coming out. I'm gonna let you go after this. Is NXT being produced by both Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon? What is your honest opinions about that incident where Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard took over the production of NXT?
Someone's pissed with Triple H. No, realistically speaking, I just feel like because they feel like they're losing in some aspect of this quote unquote war, they feel like they have to step in because they were the ones that were, I guess, had the most prominent points of the company, and they had the company's best interest when they were writing things. So, and they're also just, I guess, frustrated with their creative.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like I guess what said, like I mean, at the end of the day, Triple H runs NXT, but at the end of the day, it's under the umbrella of WWE. So Vince runs it no matter what. But I guess he just wants to step in and make it more profitable, because I don't think NXT and the Performance Center, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't been profitable since they started it. If I'm not mistaken, hearing that, that's all that hasn't really turned a profit yet. So maybe Vince McMahon thinks, all right, I gotta step in and get this stuff going. But it's all just rumor and hearsay.
So, well, thank you both, Vincent Cade and Mike Goldstein, for coming on. I appreciated your guys' time, and I hope that the two of you hustle or wrestle in the ring in GTS soon. Oh, as I just said that, it just ended. Hmm. You can follow these guys, Vincent Cade on Instagram, Vince F and Cade, and on Twitter, Vincent Cade, obviously, and Goldstein, Mike Goldstein is he has a Twitter, Real Deal MG, and I hope that you guys like this, and hope that you guys like. All right, so I'm gonna end this right. I'm gonna end this stream. I'm gonna end this podcast. Whoever was watching, either on Periscope or YouTube, thank you for tuning in with me. And I hope that we will have more guests on, and hope you guys keep supporting the podcast, whoever is watching. If you're either a wrestling fan or a person that wants to enjoy something else and have a good time, So it was nice of Miss Vincent Cade and Mike Goldstein. Vincent Cade being I'm an up and comer in GTS, and Mike Goldstein being the current Intercontinental Champion in GTS, and having his being part of the anti-Grim movement. No offense to Grim, it's just I'm gonna say that that lumberjack match that was held in a steel cage where the lumberjacks were outside of the ring. It's kind of confusing a little bit. I'm not underestimating your booking, but I'm just saying it's kind of out of the ordinary. I'm just saying that's what GTS thrives on, which I applaud to that. But honestly, I honestly think that Vincent Cade and Mike Goldstein would actually get in the ring together and possibly perform a hell of a match. Maybe a Lego death match. Maybe some type of match that is not have actually been introduced in GTS or anywhere else. I hope that both of them can actually have the chance to get in the ring. And I said that so much, I don't know why. But I'm going to say this. Goldstein, maybe Vlad might be coming for you. I'm just saying. But he has to go through your buddy Isaac Seif first. So he might actually pick a fight with you. I don't know. But that's undetermined at this point. But Vincent Cade, I hope that you do great in GTS. I hope that you possibly do a 5-star match and possibly work a couple of matches, possibly in Japan or in New Japan or all those places was it Kid Christian, where he wrestled in AEW and all those other places, and Jimmy Rave. He been through WWE, TNA, I think Impact. He's been all around the world, and then he retired recently last year, which I hope that he recovers from it and has a good life past his past his wrestling retirement. So I'm gonna say this: thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're on Periscope, follow me on Twitter, Game Master Clark, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and turn on all post notifications if you don't want to miss any future streams / uploads. And I hope to see everybody here next again for another one. Coming on the 26th on September this month, I'm going to have a former WWE Tag Team Champion, Charlie Haas. And future guests will possibly come, one of them being Manabo somewhere down the line. So stay tuned for that. And some others will follow, I would assume. But enough about that. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Wrestling Around podcast. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next Wrestling Around episode.